Now while you're watching this video, please remember to like, subscribe to my channel, click the bell icon for notification of future videos and share this video also. Thank you.
Well, hello there. Welcome back to my channel, guys. It's so good to have you here with me once again. I have yet again another exciting video for you, and as you can see, the title suggests how Jamaican culture fosters bias on sex and sexuality / Jamaican Christians' views on sex in marriage. Now, I did a video a few days ago, right, where I reacted to a video titled oral sex bottom wash and oral sex bottom wash and ties are wrong. Is oral sex bottom wash ties and ties, are they wrong? That was the title of the video. Now, for those of you who don't know, bottom wash or brata, another name for it, is what we Jamaicans, the term for rimming, right? We Jamaicans call it bottom wash or brata, right? That is what we call it. So that's the video. I reacted to that video, and in the video I did say that I'm going to show why the presenter muddied Ezekiel chapter 23 so badly, took the entire chapter out of context and redefined it, changing the whole meaning of the entire chapter in order to present what he wants to present, right? And as such, he showed his bias then, so to speak, right? And I did say that I'm going to tell you all where this is coming from, so that you can have an understanding as to why that quote unquote apostle messed up the chapter so bad. It is because of the Jamaican culture, right? We Jamaicans, we have a stigma and a lot of things where sex is concerned, right? And in this video, I'm going to give you a breakdown, right, as to the culture, right? Because the culture, it even affects Christians as well, because we Jamaican Christians, we have our role that we play in fostering or giving strength to this culture, right? Now, to give you a breakdown, I'll start by saying this. A couple years ago, at that time, I might have been in about ninth grade, or I might have been in third form, between third form to fifth form, right? And at that time, I believe I might have been 14 years of age, somewhere there about between 14 years of age to 16 years of age. So you can say that approximately 15 years ago, right, there was a video that went out on an immaculate high school girl. That's the very first incident of a Jamaican being recorded doing some sex act, and it went viral. At this time there was no smartphone, but I think the phones that was carrying the swing then was the I'm trying to remember. I think it was the Panasonic camera type of phone them. I'm not quite sure, but it was those high-tech camera phone. It was before BlackBerry and those type of phone 15 years ago. And this young girl, she was on the video performing oral sex, of course, on a man. And I remember when I was in high school, it was a talk of everyone at school. People were saying, "Oh, this girl's so bad." And trust me, I saw the video. And to be honest with you, porn star doesn't have nothing on her. I don't know what become of her, but she received a huge amount of backlash because of that, and she had to migrate, right? She had to migrate instantly. Now, there was another incident that occurred with a popular TV personality. I'm not quite sure of, yes, I think it would have occurred later. I'm trying to remember now. 15 years ago would bring me to 2011. No. 15 years ago would bring me to 2006, right? 15 years ago would bring me to 2006. So I think it was around in 2008, approximately 2 to 3 years after. I don't know the precise date of the first girl that I told you about, the Immaculate Girl. So let's say about 2 3 years after her, there was an incident that occurred with a Jamaican TV personality that goes by the name of Amila Milk Swill, right, where she was seen in a video performing oral sex, right? And with her then boyfriend at the time, and she received some huge amount of backlash because of that. She lost her job immediately because she was working at a television station, CVM network, right? Popular TV personality. As a matter of fact, at that time when I was a big dancehall fan, I used to hurry from home to go and catch her program, right, and see who is at number one on dancehall for the week or month and so forth. Yes, it was that good at the time, and she lost her job because of that, right? And not only did she lose her job, based on what she was basically saying, is that her boyfriend got an opportunity to come on several shows and express his side of the story as to what went down, what caused that to actually happen, right? But she never got that same opportunity. Please pardon the cell phone ringing, right? She didn't got that opportunity to express herself and to basically give her take on what happened, right? She said that she wanted to go on a popular show named On Stage, and a popular station On Stage, right? And she didn't get the opportunity to go on it and give her side of the story. Basically saying how she didn't get a fair opportunity to give her side of the story, and the reason for that is because of because of what she was caught doing. I guess the TV stations and so forth that she wanted to go on and give her side of the story, they never wanted any affiliations with her because they never want to receive backlash by having her to come on their show, right? Believe it or not, guys, that was Jamaica, how Jamaica was, right? And it has affected her greatly, right? To the point, I have to post some links in the comment section for you to see the full details of what she's actually talking about. Where she lost her job and how she was homeless for a while. She had to send her son to another country and so forth because of the stigma that he would receive from his friends at school and so forth. It was a total mess, guys. But this was how dancehall was back then, 2008 and before, right? But amidst all of that, before I even get into what actually bailed her out of her situation, before these incidents occurred, there were dancehall artists who in their songs, female artists, who in their songs they were trying to introduce some sexuality then, so to speak, in their music, particularly a certain type of what they would call freaky lifestyle in their music. But they received significant amount of backlash for it, right? I'm speaking of entertainers like Cecile and their song Do It To Me Baby, right? That's the title of the song. You can find it on YouTube if you so desire. I will post links in the comment section where you can see it. And she tell her story how she received a lot of flag from it. Persons don't want to play her songs at dance and so forth. Selectors don't want to play it, and a whole lot of things happen to her because you see, dancehall back then in her time, the music, especially because of the culture, the music used to hear dancehall entertainers lick out. When I say lick out, they would oftentimes sing, so put some type of lyrics condemning the act of what they would call or kinky or freaky, and that is oral sex. They would oftentimes condemn homosexuality and all these type of things in their music, and a number of them even receive backlash from other countries. I mean, countries like US and so forth, they get some ban and so forth from going to the country because of some of the lyrics that they put in their songs, right? Because other countries were not going to welcome it, right? because they would consider it as hate. And that goes to show you that other cultures are very different from the Jamaican culture. Yeah, other cultures are very different. We Jamaicans, when it comes to sex, sexuality, and sexual expression, we are basically in a what we call it now. You could put us, how should I put it? It's like we are in a little world by ourselves when it come to those things, right? No, more could be said about this because I'm sure there are other female artists who try to introduce those kind of things in their songs, right? But they received a lot of flagging, but I can't think of any right now. I can't think of any. There could be. I don't know if Tanya Stevens had any of those type of things in her lyrics. I mean, she'd sing about sex, and express herself in songs about sex, but I'm not sure of any form of quote unquote kinky or freaky lyrics coming from her. Another case in point, dancehall artist Lady Saw, who is now Marian Hall, she converted and become a Christian. In one of her songs called Sycamore Tree, you find her condemning the act, talking about a guy wanting her to perform oral sex on him, and she telling you how not going to happen, not going to happen, and she was just, that was the content of the song. You find other dancer artists saying the same thing. No girl can, or no girl can get me do this and do that. So that is how the style of music was. Right? That was how the style of music was. So when this happened to the young girl that I mentioned about, the immaculate schoolgirl, right? And then this happened to Milk. You can understand why they receive so much backlash, right? Because of the culture condemning certain acts. At that time in Jamaica, if you are even doing those kind of things, you have to do it in hiding. You cannot make it become known. You understand? And so because of this, when persons have followed with whoever couple, whether it be man followed with woman, and let's say for argument's sake, the man basically did those kind of things to the girl he was with, right? And worse, if the favor wasn't returned or anything, then the girl, if she wants to get back at him, she could disrespect him and say, hey, good boy, you did this to me and so forth. For the purpose of Christian sake, I'm not going to repeat what they would say. But they would style him and say, yo, good boy, remember say, yo, whatever to me, and your head did under me, or things like that and so forth, right? As a way to disrespect him. No, you will never get that, find that in any other country, In no other country and culture, you can actually use a kind of line like that to disrespect someone. You can't, because their culture is not like ours, right? The same way you would find a guy, if he wants to disrespect a girl, he would say, girl, remember say you did whatever to me, you went down on me, or so forth, in order to publicly shame them. Because the stigma there, you can't do that and basically make it known. If you engage in any of those kind of things, you have to keep that in hiding. And let's say for argument's sake, if you're just offering to do that to someone, you have to basically tell them, don't tell anybody, right? You have to tell them, don't tell anybody, right? And if it is that you're going to request that from someone, we are talking about the dark days, 10, 15 years ago, you have to basically tell them, listen, it's just between me and you, don't tell anyone. Most Jamaicans, as long as you're let me see now, if you're at least over 20, then you will know what I'm actually talking about, right? Where this culture is concerned. Now, as evidence of this, if you listen Cecile's song, Do It To Me Baby, it will tell you, she has lines where she say, enough of them attack, but they're doing it and so forth. There's a line where she mentioned that in her song, right? And that's because that's how it is. If you're doing it, you basically just have to pretend that you're not and do it in hiding, right? So that is a stigma, right? 10, 15 years ago where Jamaica is concerned. Now back to Amila Milk Swill. What saved her was a dancehall artist that goes by the name Vibes Cartel, otherwise known as Addy, or The Teacher, Gaza Boss, World Boss, World Shepherd, You understand? These are the other alias that he goes by. Now, the term world shepherd, and world boss is significant, From someone is called a boss or a shepherd, you should know that that person must have some evil influence. And yes, if that's what you're thinking, you guess right. He's basically touted as a king of dancehall and the best lyricist Jamaica has ever seen. Honest to God, even as a Christian, I can tell you, there is no rapper that can basically go toe to toe with Vybz Kartel when it comes to lyrics. Vybz Kartel could be put in the same caliber as your Tupac or your Biggie Small when it comes to lyrics. Right? So at the time that Vybz Kartel was in his prime, and what he did was basically release a song that became a hit. The title of the song is Freaky Girl. And what happened when he made that hit, it somewhat took off the negative light that was on Amelia Milk's will. And now you find so many men were now vibing to it. And after Vybz Kartel, several other male dancehall artists started to incorporate those kind of things in their lyrics, right? And so you find now the culture change, right? So now women who are basically into those kind of things, are into actually going down, they no longer have to hide and play pretend. It's like they can now be themselves, you understand? And they can express themselves in that way. They don't need to tell a guy, hey, listen, don't tell anybody or what have you, because it has now become something accepted. But, and there's a big but now, it has become something accepted. So it has become something accepted, guys, but it is only accepted from female, right? So when it comes to men haven't gotten that kind of freedom as yet, in Jamaica, So it's only for women. So the culture now took somewhat of a shift, right? Whereas women can now do it, but guess what? Men, don't you ever do that. Don't you ever do that. So dancehall now has taken a very biased stance now, and it has gotten double standard now where sex and sexuality is concerned. Double standard and inconsistent. When I say double standard and inconsistent, I mean that women now get the freedom to basically go down, and they also now have the freedom to basically be lesbians if they want to. Oh my, I'm so sorry that I actually said that word. YouTube. I hope I don't get flagged for that. But anyways, they can now express themselves in that way. But as a man, it must not be heard that you're basically doing that to a woman. And not only that, men and men is a complete no-no still in Jamaica. I mean, granted that no one will harm you physically, but it is not condoned, right? It is not condoned. And this is now the biased approach where dancehall is now. This is a turn where it has actually took, and due to this factor, another dancehall female artist tried the same stunt that Cecile pulled off, right? Her name is let me see, Aishwana, right? And she has a song, Equal Rights. She has a song called Equal Rights, which when she put out that song, I think it was 2017, she received a lot of flagging from it. Why? Because the lyrics was talking about men doing it. So the dancehall culture now, you hear the dancehall male artists talk about women doing it to them, right? But you will never hear them talking about them doing it to a woman. But you will hear female dancehall artists, and I've heard the lines before. Dancehall artists such as Shensia and what's her name again? And Jada Kingdom. They have lyrics where they talk about doing it to men, because thanks to Vybz Kartel, women can make those kind of lyrics and express themselves in that way. But they dare not talk about men doing it to them. So this is now the double standard and inconsistent approach where dancehall is. Once upon a time, you would find a dancehall artist doing a video with any girl and girl action going on, right? But now you will see it in their music. Grant you can never find any man and man kind of thing in their music, right? But you will see woman and woman action. So they condemn men from doing certain things but allow women to actually do it. So this is the bias and inconsistent approach where dancehall is right now, and this is why I did say in the video where I reacted to the pastor that I'm going to show you that dancehall can in no way be a credible source, right, to determine what a person can do in marriage sexually. Why? Because it is very inconsistent and double standard. Right? Wrong is wrong between both genders, and it is right between both genders. You can't say it's wrong for one and say it's right for the next. Right? And this is why I say that you cannot use dancehall as a source. I know Christians have their role, you know, in which they play where this is concerned. I remember once upon a time a good friend of mine, I hear him saying, boy, if my wife even ever mentioned something like that to me, and another female person that was beside me at the time said, yes, a lot of the Christians, you know that they're doing it and so forth. And that was the emphasis of the conversation, because many Jamaican Christians, because of the culture, they condemn the act heavily. If you as a Christian person married to another Jamaican Christian, and it so happened that you are into it and they are not, and that was never communicated, worse, it end up that you and the person is married, trust me, may God help you. Because if you are not careful, you bring those kind of things and that was never communicated before, you risk being shamed and rebuked, because that is a factor, you know, that happens, you know, because of the culture. And I see it happen. I see a Jamaican newspaper called Tell Me Pastor from the Star. I see that in it oftentimes where persons making their complaint and seeking advice from the pastor. And I'm talking about people from different culture, you know. They're dating a Jamaican, and the issue at hand, the Jamaican just don't want to go down, and the person was trying to understand what's the big deal, because they are from a different culture and they're saying what's the big deal. So the pastor have to basically let the person know about the overall culture, that hey, when it comes to Jamaicans, no girl, this is a struggle for Jamaicans. So you find it happen, it is among Christians, right, and it affects everyone right across the board who are in Jamaica, right, because of the culture and their views on sex and so forth, right. I remember Liquor Wayne. Maybe I shouldn't talk about that here. Let me not get to hip hop side of it. I'll leave that for tomorrow when I'm going to compare hip hop, another genre of music, and another culture with Jamaica, and you'll see the vast differences between the two cultures. Right? You will see the vast difference between the cultures. I will post some links that will give you information and practically all of what I said to you just now and more. So I'm basically going to end this video now, guys. I'm trying to make it as short as possible, but hey, this is the video that I have for you. The Jamaican culture, how it fosters bias where sex and sexuality is concerned, right? And you now understand that this is something that even affects Christians and how they view sex as well in the context of marriage, because that is what you saw with the man, right? And so now if you're a non-Jamaican, you have an idea as to why this quote-unquote apostle spouted so much nonsense in what he was saying in his presentation, right? I made this video now, you know, for non-Jamaicans, you know, because most Jamaicans would already know what I'm talking about. Only way they won't know is if they're like under 20 and they were too young to really understand the change of the culture, because persons now, Jamaicans now, teenagers and so forth, they see the culture in a time. If they hear what I'm talking about, they would be surprised because of the change in culture, right? So this is for a particular audience, non-Jamaicans and Jamaicans who are young and don't understand properly the culture. So now I end this video, guys. I do hope that you enjoyed. If you did, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe and share. And remember now, join me tomorrow as I do a video showing a comparison between Jamaican culture and different cultures, right? Comparing dancehall and comparing hip hop. Bye bye now, guys.